Hello and welcome to the online classes for Kids Heaven Public School. So, for my grade 9 students, our poem on killing a tree, which is from our NCERT book of Beehive. Now let's check out the literary devices. The literary devices and poetic devices mean the same thing. And it is very important for us to learn in a poem what the devices are, because it gives us an idea that what kind of poem it is. Okay, so without wasting time, let's begin the literary devices for On Killing a Tree poem. Now, the first thing we have to know is the rhyme. Is there any rhyme in this poem? So, no rhyme scheme is there in the poem. It is a free verse poem. That is to say, the verses in a poem. Remember, I told you that each sentence in a poem is called verse, and each paragraph in a poem is called stanza. Okay, keep this in mind. So there is no rhyming. You know what is rhyme? You see, when one verse ends and it has a similar sound with the next verse and the next, that is what is called rhyming. So in this poem, it is free verse. There is no rhyme or rhythm. Now the second device used is enjambment. Enjambment, as I've told you earlier also in other poems, it is when one sentence continues in two or more lines. That is to say, the first verse is not completed in the first verse. Okay, it is not completed in the first line. It moves on to the second. Sometimes it reaches the third and the fourth. For example, look at the first verse. Not a simple jab of the knife. You see, we are writing the verse up to here, but it has not ended. We'll do it. It moves on to the second line. That is where it is completed. Okay, now look at this one. It has grown, slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing, and continues. So you see, the second verse has occupied 4 lines. So this is what device enjambment means when one sentence continues into 2 or more lines. The next one is metaphor. Metaphor means indirect comparison. That is to say, when we are comparing two things, when one can be an object, the other can be in a human form, and we are trying to compare them. The way I told you that the sap of a tree is like the blood of a human being. Okay, when you cut a tree, the liquid that flows out is called the sap, and when you cut a human hand, the liquid that flows out is the blood. So this is how metaphor works. It shows an indirect comparison. Now the next one we have here is alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of a consonant sound in 2 or more closely places of words. When we are repeating the same consonant sound, ba, 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 in similar words, that is in one verse or closely placed words. For example, bleeding, bark. Bleeding is with b, bark is with b. So this is alliteration. This is a consonant sound, b. Bleeding, bark. Okay, then white and wet. We are here alliterating the w sound, the w, white and wet. Okay, so this is alliteration. And then repetition, obviously from the word, which means a word or a sentence is repeated to lay emphasis on it, that is to show its importance. For example, the word pulled out has been repeated quite a number of times in the poem. In such, so these are things you can also observe yourself. I can give you a poem and ask you to check out the literary devices for me. It is very easy, something like repetition. You can easily find the words or the verses that are being repeated in the poem. Alliteration, you can check out the sounds, the consonant sounds that are being repeated. Okay, so it's really easy. It's nothing very tough. Just understand it, you will get it easily. Okay, so these were the literary devices for the poem On Killing a Tree.